Now let's set up our graphics window for what we want to do. So we're going to come over here to Work Plane, and this is Work Plane Settings. So we'll click on that. And we are doing a Cartesian analysis. We want to show both the grid and the triad. So the grid's not showing right now. Here, this is the triad. When we're first the triad, so that's the X, Y, and Z. We're going to build up the grid here, give the settings for it. So we're going to enable snap every 12 inches. Because again, we set up that cross-section area is 8 inches, so this better be in inches too. We're going to have spacing for our grid every 12 inches. We'll have 0 for our minimum here. Our maximum will be, I just hit tab there by the way, tab will be 72 inches. All right, so going back here, let's see why we're doing that. All right, so we got 3 times 3 is 6, or sorry, 3 plus 3 is 6, 6 times 12, and that's our 72. All right, so we're trying to get, we want to be able to have points where we can click right here on each one of these, for these nodes locations. So that's the 72. And then we don't have to worry about tolerance. Go ahead and click OK. So let's get back to our ANSYS window. All right, so now let's display our working plane. We've defined the grid. Let's actually display it. Oh, where'd it go? All right, so this is where you want to zoom out. We're really zoomed in. That's what we see. This is basically one big square. So we want to zoom out. So find your zoom out button over here. And click on this several times to get to the point where you're seeing all the squares. And then we're just going to shift it over. So pan left and pan down. And let's hit plus on that to get it bigger. There we go. So if you do one more, yeah, we're beyond the window. So let's go minus right there so we can see everything. That looks good. All right, so now let's put some nodes in this thing. So we'll go preprocessor, come down here, modeling, or model what we're doing. And we want to create nodes on working plane. That's what we just defined. We created the working plane. So we'll click there. And now what it wants is, this is called the picker window, and we want to pick where we want. So we're going to start here at 0, 0. All right. And then we'll move over to 3 feet, 1, 2, 3. Pick this node. So let's go back to presentation again. So we're right here. All right. And by the way, if you print off the handout, which I'll have in the same location as we have for the past couple lectures, basically look at the link in the notes, which will get you to that. That'll show you where the nodes are at, and you can follow along probably a little better than for me bouncing back and forth. All right, so we got 3 inches there. We'll do the one up here at 3 feet, 36 inches. 36 inches up here for this node, and then we'll go across for node 4, and then node 5 out here. And we'll click OK. Oh, by the way, if you missed one, so maybe I put one here by accident, we'll just come back here, unpick, and see how the arrow flipped directions. Right, so let me show you again. So pick is up, unpick is down. So unpick this one, all right, and then we can go back to what we're doing. All right, so go ahead and click OK. And you can see they're numbered. You can hardly see the 1 in there because it's kind of messed up, but 2, 3, 4, and 5. And it does matter the order that you pick them for the node numbers to show up in the same way. All right. So to highlight these nodes here, the grid was really there just to help us find where to pick the nodes at. So we're going to display working plane and uncheck that. And now maybe we can shift pan it up here, and maybe can we zoom in? Yeah, there we go. So let's zoom in so we can see everything a little bit better. All right, so to maintain the numbering, let's go up here to plot controls and numbering. So numbering right here. And let's see here. We want, let's keep our node numbers, make sure they stay on. So we'll check that. Element attribute numbering, let's do that as well so we can see the element numbers. See those, and that looks good. So click apply and OK. All right, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We haven't put any elements in yet, so those aren't showing up. All right, to make sure we got everything that looks good, we can come over here to list nodes. We only have 5, so it's not a big deal. But in some other cases that we're going to be looking at in the future, it's going to matter where those show up. So we'll just go coordinates only and go ahead and OK. And I list the nodes saying we're at node 1 is at 0, 0, node 2 is at 36 inches, y equals 0, etc., etc. All right, notice there's no units shown in here, so we have to, again, be consistent with units. as we go through our model. All right, so again, save DB. All right, so let's define some elements here. So we got our nodes, so we're going to define the elements. So we click on elements there. And we're going to do auto-numbered through our nodes, right? Nodes we just created, so click through nodes, picker window comes up again. And again, order matters for what the element numbers are going to be. So we'll start with node 1, which you can't really see there, and then node 2. And there's a lot of ways we can do this next step here. We want to basically apply and say, yep, that's going to be element 1. So the first way I'll do is I'll say, let's come over here and just click apply. And it pops up there with the number. Let's define the next one. So we'll go from 2 up to 3. And another way, instead of hitting apply, you can middle click. So just middle click, and that works as well. All right, so then let's go from 3 to 4 is the next one. I'll middle click now. And let's go from 2 up to 4. The computer kind of lagged there for a bit. And let's go from 2 to 5. Middle click, and then we'll do from 4 to 5. And middle click. All right, that looks good, and we'll go ahead and click OK. All right, so again, save DB. Again, let's do it more than we need to, just to make sure we catch everything we want. All right, so we have nodes defined, we got elements defined. What's next? We need to define boundary conditions, all right? Loads and or boundary conditions. So there's two places we can do that. One is here under loads, and the other one is under solution. We have defined loads. So we'll go here under solution, and we'll apply structural loads and do displacement on nodes. So right here. Right. So we're just going to basically constrain this, so you can see apply some displacement or rotation on nodes. And in this case, we want to fix some things. We want to make sure some things don't move. And so we'll pick node 1, and we'll pick node 3. And we can middle click, or we can click apply. I'll middle click here. And we're going to say all degrees of freedom. We don't want either of those points. Those are affixed to a wall. They're not moving in any direction. So we'll say all degrees of freedom are a constant value, and that constant value is 0. And we'll go ahead and click OK. And so you get these nice little arrows pointing that there's constraints on both those. Let's go back here, and we'll do apply structural, not displacement now, but force / moment. And we'll apply on nodes. All right, and just double checking here, going back to our picture here, we got 500 pounds being applied down the vertical direction, 500 pounds here as well. All right, so let's apply to node 4 and node 5, and again, middle click. And the direction of the force is going to be in the y direction, so we look down here at triad. Okay, so we got y direction, and this is indicating that y is positive going upwards, so we want to go in a negative 500 pounds, and click OK. And we see the red arrows indicating, now it's not being applied this way, but pulling down on that node is effectively the same thing. So save DB.